activity that Colorado offers, and then I consider part of my life.
I don't know what they do.
Yeah, I mean, it takes you an hour just to get outside of the city. I mean, just to get out. I mean, we drive an hour from here and we're halfway into the mountains.
Yeah,
so,
you're in Winter Park if it's a Tuesday.
Exactly.
And when you got that, when everything lined up and you came out here to work for the kitchen, that's where I met you.
Correct.
And so, when was that? Was that like 2013?
2015 is when we moved out. Yeah, in February.
Okay,
yep.
That's right.
So are your kids old enough to like ski and snowboard yet?
Yeah, so my daughter and I got in 5 days last year, something like that.
Okay.
Yep, we're going to do that again. Vail does an amazing thing with their Epic Kids Pass where they give them 4 free days at Breck, Keystone, Vail, and Beaver Creek up until 5th grade, which is, incredible for them to get our youth into it because otherwise it's just too expensive. So that's been really cool. We enjoy fishing and being in the outdoors. Every year we've been here, my daughter wants to go to Breckenridge for her birthday, which was yesterday, actually.
Happy birthday to
Lily,
yeah.
Happy birthday, and so we went up there. So, and it's like, why do you like coming up here? And she's like, it's really peaceful and beautiful, Daddy. And you're like, all right, I'm glad we moved here.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I was going to ask, because when we do have our food industry friends on the podcast, and now we're friends. I don't know if you know this.
That's cool.
We've been hanging out for
I've known Bama for a couple years now, so it's good.
Oh, wait, nickname Bama?
Yeah, that's...
See, I feel like that flows a little bit better than CB3. So
Bama. Well, I think if you ask anybody, do you remember working with Chris? They'd be like, Chris who? And then it's Chris Bayard, and they're like, who are you talking about? And if somebody said, do you know Bama? They'd be like, oh, yeah, he was a bartender at Glendale.
Yeah, so it kind of sucks, though. So this happened to me a couple weeks ago. I was in Boulder, and somebody came up to me and was like, hey, Bama, what's up? And I was thinking to myself, fuck, this guy looks familiar, but I have no idea what his name is. And it's kind of unfair because if you work with somebody in the restaurant and they have a nickname of Bama, that's going to be easy to remember than some guy named Jesse. So I get put in this situation where it's like, I don't... Yeah, so I have to be like, I'm sorry, what's your name? Okay, and then we move on. But anyways...
I do that awkwardness where I reintroduce myself to people all the time.
That's always...
We've met like 6 times. We actually shared a party bus to Red Rocks. Like, fuck, man, I don't remember. I can't remember things like that.
The crazy thing is 2015 was right around the time the actual food scene in Denver started to kind of flourish.
Yeah, so I felt like when I had left in 2007... 2008, it was starting, right? Jennifer had now opened up a couple restaurants. She had Bistro Rioja and had Bistro Vendome at that point. And then, let's see, Frank was still, was starting to do some cool stuff.
Yeah, you had the bigger names.
Yeah, those guys, right? And then... and now you're starting to see some offskirts of them, like Alex Seidel, who worked with Frank for so long at Mizuna, right now is crushing his own concepts in Fruition and Mercantile. And Justin Brunson, who did a lot of that same stuff, and Max coming down from the mountains and stuff. So now you're starting to see some of those OG chefs, the Kevin Taylor, the Jennifer Jasinskis, the Frank Bonanos, those kind of offshoots that worked for them for a long time. Exactly, the family tree. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's
we really look at that. It's called lineage, right? Like, it really is. And I think in any sort of creative outlet, you're always going to have a mentor. I think the only other kind of thing is like karate, right? Like, that's another discipline that you have mentors in, and that you learn more the more mentors you have. And so we certainly live in that world in cooking. And I even talk to young cooks. It's like, don't ever put a restaurant on your resume if you haven't worked there for a year, and don't ever stay at a restaurant for longer than a year, right? So that's your kind of thing, is what you do as a cook. You work for a restaurant for 1 year and then move on and start getting those influences until you really know what you like to do, what your style of food is going to be, what's your flavor profiles, who you got attracted to. And if somebody really makes you move, stay there for 2 years, right?
If it's you go from like Italian to French, is that what you're saying? Or
all of that, yeah, from everything, correct. Because everybody's got their own different background. My mom was born in Indonesia, and I grew up in Central Coast of California, so Mexican cuisine is huge on me. But if you looked at me, you wouldn't think that.
No,
so, I have some of those nuances in my cooking that come from my upbringing, right, that are part of my DNA, that truly who I am. And you meet those kind of chefs that have that. And then then you have stuff that molecular gastronomy that really took off in some amazing places like, WD-50 in New York with Wiley and Alinea in Chicago, with Grant doing just fucking mind-blowing stuff that we'd never seen done in America before. And so go get that, but I don't like that. But I want to go back to, rolling my own pasta. So who should I go work for that? So cuisines and flavors and techniques is so different in restaurants and cooking especially. We're never going to learn everything, right? We're never going to learn every ingredient on this planet and every technique. You never master any of that. You just continue to learn. So the day you stop learning means you're not committed to learning anymore, right? And fuck out of the kitchen. Seriously.
So the passion would be gone. You'd be like, all right, let's go try something else.
Exactly. Yeah, so with this lineage of chefs being trained under kind of the younger or the older kind of people who are more known in Denver, they're all splitting off and starting their own restaurants. But what do you think is Denver's identity as a food town? I mean, I don't know whether you could put like one word to describe Denver as a food
city.
There
is no identity here.
Yeah, so like
we're just as much like we bitch at Sam all the time because we're a city. I mean, you're a transplant, not only technically, but factually, we all are. We're just a big melting pot. And not only we have influences from all sorts of places, but I feel like if you say Denver, nothing actually comes to mind except for fuck tons of steakhouses, and most of which are like chain,
I mean, it's up until probably those mid 2000s, right? That it was a meat and potato town. I mean, you can still look around, and some of the best grossing restaurants in our city are steakhouses. I mean, that's just Elway's and Cherry Creek just absolutely fucking crushes. I mean, it's ridiculous, right?
Never been there.
Neither have I. I just know they do a lot of volume and money.
I've eaten at the one in the airport like 9 times.
Yeah, Cherry Creek Bar and Grill is another thing. It's a Hillstone concept, and they just absolutely print. So
they just sit there, and it's just like a chain, but it's like a Fogo de Chao.
And so, I think the great thing is finally we have customers in Denver that are willing to eat other things besides meat and potatoes.
Try new things.
Correct. So that's the start. And then we are getting more and more people coming into this state. So we get more outside influences, and we get different perspectives, and we get people that are used to larger city food offerings, right? And then they start bringing things to that. So, at this point, we are a meat and potato beer town.
Well, question. So I'm going to spin off of that because I love all three of those things. But I want to kind of know some of the places that you maybe enjoy, and not necessarily meat and potatoes, but just like... Right. We ask, our guests that come on, especially those that are in the industry, to kind of give tips to our listeners. Like if you get the rare night off, out of the kitchen, maybe a date night with the wife if the kids are not around. What's the date night in Denver for you?
Man, I don't get that very often.
We know some great babysitters.
Yeah, perfect. I appreciate that. That will help. And I do also like to cook at home, so that also happens quite a bit. But mostly it's going to places that are, I think, are my friends. Exactly.
Like Jen's places.
It's going to see Jen and her partner Beth, her business partner Beth, who are both mentors of mine, right? So going to see them anytime, and going to see Max, who's one of my best friends at Bardo, and his partner Blake, who runs Senior Bear, and going to those kind of places. And so
big Bardo fans.
Okay. Well,
that group is doing some fucking crazy stuff over there. They actually did. They were Sam did a old Stoned Appetit. It was actually at the Elways in Cherry Creek. And Senior Bear won the awards, and we actually kind of reached out to him. We flirted with each other here and there. We might have to go visit him.
I can make an introduction.
There we go, and we'll maybe make that the last part.
Shout out.
Yeah. But they won the award for whatever. It was like the best. I think it was a slider event, and they won the best. Senor Bear won some like fucking lavish ass slider with like pork belly and something else. And Sam was like, it was just amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, so if you don't get a date much often, or get out there to a date spot many times, what's in the past 3 months?
Yes.
What's the best meal you've had in Denver?
Meals are hard, right? Because people ask me, do I critique when I go out? Yes, I do, when I'm paying the money that you should be critiquing food at, right? If you're paying for under something that's under $10, it's really hard to critique it.
Yeah,
you're not going to bitch about $4 tacos or $2 tacos. So
people that will.
Yeah, well, of course,
Yelp fuckers.
Yeah, Yelp knows all of those people. They pay him extra.
It's the let me speak with your manager haircut people.
So, recently we went to Softa. Just right down the street from where we're at, actually.
We went there for my birthday dinner.
Yeah, their hummus
A work event.
is absolutely
Did
fucking
you have the
out of
blue
this.
crab hummus?
No, I had the lamb hummus.
Oh, see, we had
And the
the
cauliflower one is good.
we had the lamb tartare,
Yeah.
and that was crazy with the type of bread they served with it. And then we had the blue crab hummus and the roasted cauliflower. I don't know if you got that with the
And
whipped
it comes with
feta.
that whipped feta.
Holy shit!
I would bathe in that, and I would also use it as lube if given the opportunity.
Agreed.
Go ahead and throw that out there.
Yeah, Softa was awesome. So,
Perfect.
Yeah,
there was a bad joke followed there, but I'm just gonna leave that one in my head.
You got to lay those jokes out here. We're not going to move.
It was gonna be something about ass to mouth with feta lube would be really great.
Really big chocolate starfish, folks. Here on it's 2018. If you're not eating ass, somebody else will. So just remember that, single ladies.
So that was great. I actually was just at a friends and family last weekend for Marin, and that was unbelievable for like a practice run for those guys. So that was amazing.
What do we expect on that menu? So I actually was in France.
Super dope French food.
Yeah, I was actually in France last week for the Ryder Cup. Humble brag, not a big deal, but not a real French guy.
Right.
Don't know a fucking lick of it.
Okay.
Parlez-vous anglais, which was about the extent of my knowledge. So we did a lot of tartares, escargot, things of that nature.
Great.
Is that what we're going to be seeing on
Yes,
this menu?
you'll see a bunch of that. I mean, they have a whole section dedicated just to potatoes where you get a whole bunch of really different cool versions. They had an incredible raw salmon dish that was amazing. Their lobster technique on how they cook that was ridiculous. They had a nice dry-aged duck breast.
So is this going to be old school French cuisine?
No, I would say it's very much more modern French.
Very much modern?
Hell
Yeah.
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 We're going to have to do a little stone appetit.
Yeah.
Work expense.
Beautiful plating, sourcing at its
How
highest
many
level.
dollar signs are we going to put next to that?
Probably 4,
Is it
3 to
a little
4.
bit of 4?
Yeah. I mean, I think what I saw their pricing was
Like a
under
$25,
$30,
right?
but your portions are going to be smaller than what you would normally expect to see for that. But that's good because you shouldn't be eating fucking 10 ounces or 12 ounces or 16 ounces of protein at a meal. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah,
Unless it's
exactly.
complemented by 4 bottles of wine.
It's still though, it's not good for your digestive system, man.
But like,
There's the 2 pounds of cheese that you eat at the
Correct.
appetizer before.
so I get the idea this place is going to be kind of like a Le Cuckoo in New York.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And it's not stuffy or pretentious in any of those kind of things. Not that white tablecloth, tuxedo
So you have
service.
the French range in
Yeah.
the kitchen, kind of open, or
So it's not an open kitchen, but it's a beautiful kitchen. I got a little tour of it, and it's great. And then Mary and McLean from Rhino Yacht
we know
Club.
McLean.
They're super homies of all of us, and they're going to be doing the beverage there. I know they're looking at solely biodynamic wine. That's all natural wine, so they're looking at really cool stuff over there. So I just think it's going to be something that the Denver market has never seen. I sure hope.
Receptive, you think?
I sure hope so. I mean, I know it's if it gets executed night in and night out like I saw, it's going to be the best restaurant possibly in the state. There's no question in my mind. They have the talent that back there too, not just Max himself, but the people he's surrounding himself with are very, very talented cooks as well. So it's going to be incredible.
Awesome.
I hope it gets one of the top 10 new best restaurants.
you heard that here.
Yeah, right now.
You sold me on it. We're going to have to go give that a whirl. What's it called?
And they're not paying me a cent. Marin.
Marin. Yeah,
Morin.
And when it officially opens,
Yeah, I think this weekend. Yeah. There's
as
All right.
well as Uchi, which is coming from
correct.
Austin.
Tyson Cole.
That was tonight, actually, is the opening.
I had one of the best bites I've ever had in my fucking entire life at that restaurant.
The one in Austin?
Yeah. So I went down there. So the great thing about being friends with C3 is I was able to have my bachelor party at Austin City Limits, the music festival.
There you go.
14 friends. We all got on the guest list, and We actually stayed out on Lake